The following program contains graphic calls to personal responsibility. If you are addicted to the system, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your local welfare office.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh! Let me tell you how it will be, Taxman. If you belong to the Tea Party, Taxman. 'Cause I'm the Taxman. Obama Taxman. If you hate Obama, we hate you. What will put you through, Taxman? 'Cause I'm the Taxman, Obama's Taxman. 'Cause I'm the Taxman, Obama's
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. Randall Terry.
Welcome to the program, friend. Did you know that the Pope had a Twitter account? We'll talk about that, only briefly. Our hearts continue to go out to you dear people in Oklahoma. We thank God with you that the death toll has in fact gone down. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for someone's horrible mistake, addition. They must have gone to never mind. Anyway, we're also going to talk about the tax man in Obama's brewing scandal. I don't think it'll bring Obama down, but boy, it could wound him. And it might have cost him the election in 2012, and that's what ticks me off. Let's have a quick word from the prof. Who are these blistering idiots who keep picking dates for Jesus' return? Jesus doesn't even know. Not even I know. Only the Father knows, and he's not talking. Not talking. Welcome to today's program, friend. The death toll in Oklahoma has been lowered from 51 to 24. I have no idea, and I have not seen any reports yet on how there could have been such a huge disparity. We grieve for the families of those 24 individuals who have lost a loved one, especially for those who have lost children. Let me read to you the quote of the tweet from Pope Francis. He said, "I am close to the families of all who died in the Oklahoma tornado, especially those who lost young children. Join me in praying for them." I saw a video of a dad and his son after they were reunited, and the boy was telling how he almost died. The tornado actually was picking him up, and I just began to cry, thinking, "Oh God in heaven, thank you that little boy is alive." And to see the relief on the dad, to see them together, the relief, the love was palpable. And you know, again, as I said in an earlier broadcast, if you have small children, we can get, I just can't imagine the pain and the anguish of those people who have lost their children, who have lost a spouse, who have lost a sibling, adults who are 60 and 70 years old who lost their 30 or 40-year-old son or daughter. The anguish and death can come so quickly upon anyone. So let us continue to pray for those people. Again, if you live in the surrounding area, we have a lot of affiliates that are in Arkansas, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma. In the initial aftermath of a tornado, there will be a lot of help. As the initial aftermath wears on, the help will dissipate and almost dry up. I mentioned yesterday that one of my closest friends, a tornado hit their family, and what she relates is that in the first few days there were a lot of people present, but that the family had to actually burn all their fields. They were a ranching and farming family. They had to burn all their fields, hundreds of acres of fields, and then walk through the fields all summer long, through the soot, through the ash of the burned fields, to look for metal and plastic and wood that would get up into the combine machinery and cause the machinery to break during harvest season. And it was grueling, day after day, 8 hours in the sun looking for stuff. And it took them all summer. So my point is simply this: if you live in the area and you want to volunteer to help them, there's 2 stages to this. There's right now, where you can go down and just help people gather their family treasures before they get ruined by exposure to the elements. And then there is a week or 2 weeks from now to just go down and to help when there's maybe not so many helping hands around. And one other thing about kids, if I may come back to that. There is something in children that is so precious. It's the joy that they bring us. It's the innocence that they have, the trust that they have when we ask them a question and they believe us, and the joy that they bring to us when we watch them learn a new thing. I have 4 small boys, and it's just a blast. It really is. But there is something about our culture that is schizophrenic. There really is something about our culture and the way it treats children that is simply schizophrenic. Treasuring them, loving them, grieving when they're gone, which many of us or most of us do, but then being willing to flood their minds with unspeakable images on television, the internet, and then, of course, killing them by abortion. Jesus said, whoever receives the kingdom of God like a little child receives me. So children are really important in the grand scheme of things. And the way we treat and honor children in this culture has become diabolical in its schizophrenia. Thank God that the death toll went down. Thank God for all the children that made it out alive of those schools. And let us grieve with and pray for the families who have lost children in Oklahoma. I will be back after this break, and we are going to talk about our good friend President Obama, what he knew. He actually wants us to believe that he learned about the IRS scandal while he was watching the news. Hey, Michelle, come on over, baby. Let's watch TV. Yeah, put it on Fox. I just want to see what the enemy is saying. No, you don't want to watch Fox? CNN? Okay, we'll watch CNN. What? The IRS was monitoring and hammering Tea Party groups? Why wasn't I told about this?
It's Randall Terry. I love this show. Yeah.
Every day in America, over 3,500 babies are torn apart by abortion. Shouldn't all babies, like this living, unborn child, have the right to life? Baby killing will only end when Americans see the truth of what abortion does to innocent children. You can help end this Holocaust by showing the truth of abortion in your area with a Face the Truth tour. Go to facethetruthamerica.com to set up a Face the Truth tour in your area. The babies and their mothers will be eternally grateful. In the 1980s, banks introduced designer checks. When my buddy George Johnson inquired at the bank, they had nothing for pro-lifers. So the Johnsons created beautiful pro-life bank checks showing babies with a strong pro-life message. You can speak out for life with every check you write, whether personal or business checks. Be a voice for babies with these pro-life checks. Go to prolifecheckguy.com to see more. That's prolifecheckguy.com. Hi friend, I'm Randall Terry. George Washington said, "It is impossible to rightly govern a nation without God and the Bible." Welcome back to the program, friend. As history, for those who are interested in such things, will record, I was and am no big fan of Mitt Romney. When I was running for president in 2012, I actually did some television advertising in Iowa where we mocked or belittled him, politically speaking, not in an unkind way, but saying that he did not have the political juice to stop Obamacare because he, in fact, had done the same thing in Massachusetts, including a $50 copay to murder your baby. Hence, I don't really like or trust him. Having said that, I will say that I despise the Obama presidency, and I think that Romney would have been a better president, all right? If you've got Satan and Beelzebub, go with Beelzebub. He's only the Lord of the Flies. He's not the Lord of the whole realm. I'm joking. I'm not comparing Obama to Satan and Romney to Beelzebub. Maybe I was? All right, maybe I was. All right, anyway, all right. Let's go to this camera. I can break the tension in the room. I want to play a clip for you. I can do this. It's a TV show. Lighten up. Will you just lighten up? I tell people when I talk about the show, by the way, we're on almost 100 stations right now. He's losing it, Lane. The host is losing it. He's actually going down so many rabbit trails simultaneously in his brain that he's unable to hold it together. Captain, the dilithium crystals can't take much more. She's breaking up. All right, no, I'm not going to wrap it up. So anyway, we're on almost 100 stations right now, which is kind of cool. All right, I'm thrilled. I'm happy. The show is growing. It's progressing. Why did I come down this rabbit trail? There is something I wanted to talk about, and I am now completely, utterly lost. Oh, it's got to do with, I don't know. I'm making it up now as I go. The Hatch, thank you. Orrin Hatch. I want to show you a video clip of, and it had to do with Beelzebub and Satan and all that. I want to show you a video clip of Hatch going after the former head of the IRS. Now, I'm doing this to set it up. Lane, I want to run this whole thing during this break, all right? And we'll comment on it in the next break. But I want you to understand, to bring it full circle, back to where I started, that I think that Romney would have made a better president than Obama, all right? That's number one. Number two, what was going on with the IRS, stonewalling various Tea Party and Patriot groups, could have brought down the Obama presidency if it had come out in May of 2012 instead of coming out in May of 2013. So watch this exchange between Hatch and the former head of the IRS.
Mr. George stated that he briefed you on May 3rd, 2012 about TIGTA's audit, so we know you were aware of it at the time that you responded to my second letter, if not both letters. But you didn't mention any of this in your responses to me, to the Senate, or to any other congressional body. Now, Mr. Miller, that's a lie by omission. There's no question about that in my mind. It's a lie by omission.
No, Lane, wait, stop. Stop the tape right there just for a minute. I'll let you start it again. But what's with the dude? What's with the guy with the goatee with crazy eyes? Folks, as you watch the rest of this video, I don't want you to be alarmed and think that there is actually an assassin behind Orrin Hatch. But there's something there with his eyes. Watch him do the crazy eye thing. I feel like he's going to leap over Orrin Hatch's head and rip the face off of Lee. So play the rest of this tape, then we'll come back and I'll comment on it, and yea, verily, oh so much more.
It's a lie by omission. And you kept it from people who have the obligation to oversee this matter. On Friday, you swore under oath that you had told the truth in your prior responses. You said that the IRS had been guilty of, quote, horrible customer service, unquote. Mr. Miller, what we have learned about the IRS in recent days goes far beyond horrible customer service. Why did you mislead me and my colleagues, my fellow senators, and most importantly, the American people, by failing to tell us what you knew about the exact subject we were asking about? Why didn't you tell us?
Mr. Hatch, I did not lie.
You what?
I did not lie, sir.
You lied by omission. You knew what was going on. You didn't, and you knew that we'd asked. You should have told us.
I answered the questions. I answered them truthfully. Did I know about the list? Yes. Not on the first letter, by the way, because the timing, I wouldn't have known that. On the second letter, we answered those questions, sir. Frankly, the concept of political motivation here, I did not agree with that in May. I do not agree with that now. We were not politically motivated in targeting conservative groups. That's borne out by Mr. George's report.
What else could you call it? He just said he hadn't found that up till now. And today's statement was a little more definitive than the one he gave to the House. Now, let me just say this. You knew this was going on. You knew we were concerned. You knew we'd written to you. You had our letters. Why didn't you correct the record? Why didn't you let us know? We would have solved this problem a long time ago.
TIGTA was looking at the cases, sir. And
Well, so
TIGTA
was TIGTA's responsibility, or was it yours?
I'm sorry?
The commissioner relied on you to answer our letters. Why didn't you answer them? And why didn't you tell us this information you knew, at least on the second?
I believe I did answer them, and I did answer them truthfully, sir.
Many have accused Randall Terry and Teddy Roosevelt of riding people too hard. But Randall Terry never forced his wife to walk to the top of a mountain.
Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today. Victory will never be found by taking the line of least resistance. Sir Winston Churchill. Hi, friend. Most of us probably forget, or some of us don't even know, that the reason Nixon was brought down was not because he was involved in the break-in at Watergate. He didn't have any knowledge of it. It was that after the fact, when he learned, he tried to cover it up. That's it. If he'd have just let justice take its due course and the bad guys suffer the consequences, everything would have been fine. All right? He wasn't a burglar. Remember he said, "I am not a crook." That was a pretty good imitation of Nixon, if I do say. Can we get a close-up on my face doing that? "I am not a crook." So anyway, it's just one of those. We're shooting too early in the morning. All right. So Nixon was brought down because of what he knew and when he knew it and what he was allowing his staff to do to cover it up. I would love to think that the Obama presidency could be brought down for those reasons. I don't think that it's going to happen, but I would love to think it was going to happen. So here's the bottom line. In May of last year, they realized that there was this political attack going on against Tea Party groups, trying to withhold from them 501c4 status, tax-exempt status. The White House counsel, what's her name? I don't want to mispronounce her name, please forgive me. Is it Kathy Romler? Yeah, Kathy Romler. She learned about this on April 24th of this year, allegedly. She tells the president's chief of staff, all right? Now, does any thinking person, and forgive me, because I'm gonna be a little bit rude here. Let's say that you're a boss. Let's say you're a mom or dad. And your number 2 person, your chief of staff, learns that there was a politically motivated attack by the IRS to keep Tea Party groups, patriot groups, from getting their 501c4 status, which you know is going to be used against Obama, okay? It's not like there's a love affair between the Tea Party and Obama. Your chief of staff knows. And you're the chief of staff. Are you going to not tell the president? The chief of staff knew in late April. So, do we have that clip of Obama at that press conference, Lane? Can you play that clip? Where Obama says, yeah, I learned about it while I was watching the news. All right, so watch this clip.
I first learned about it from the same news reports that I think most people learned about this. I think it was on Friday.
All right, now, we're supposed to believe that Barry and Michelle are hanging out at the White House, and he says, I learned about it in news reports. Honey, you want to watch the news with me? He would fire the chief of staff. I mean, if I was the president and my chief of staff was withholding that data from me, I would look at him and say, are you out of your mind? The strongest political force of 2010, the 2010 elections, was the Tea Party. In the 2012 election, it also swept people in and out of power at the House and Senate level. Rand Paul, I mean, do you need me to go down through the list? You're going to tell me that when the IRS, under my watch, is hammering these people, asking for their donor names, asking what materials that they're reading on some kind of a George Orwellian witch hunt, you're going to tell me that the chief of staff to the President of the United States of America withheld the information from him? Are you listening to me? This is insanity, people. It's insanity.
Do you know what Randall Terry and Godzilla have in common? Well, whenever he comes to town, the bad guys run away. Ah!
Do you want to have knowledge, wisdom, discernment? If so, you have to read good books on theology, history, books that look at the lives of great men and women. So to help you to become a more effective Christian, a better witness for truth, somebody who can engage in productive conversation that exhorts and edifies those that you speak with, we're going to do something crazy. We're offering you these 7 books for a gift of any size. You just pay for the shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift that you can, and we will send them to you. But just to make it a little bit more crazy, I will send you a second copy of my 3 books, autographed. You can give them as a gift to your pastor or to a family member and help extend truth and justice in the world. This is while supplies last. Just breathe. I'll be okay. Just tell me when we're on.
You're on!
I'm sorry. Okay. All right, listen to me, please. Sorry for that little episode. I've never lost my cool like that on camera before, but I can't believe that anyone believes that the president learned about this watching the news, hearing a news report? That his chief of staff kept this from him? No. All right, you got Lois Lerner, who today, she's the IRS agent who was over the division that granted or denied tax-exempt status. She's pleading the Fifth all day today. That's the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution that says you do have the right to not incriminate yourself. So she now knows that she's going to be the fall person. She's going to do time in jail. She's going to be the one who's criminally prosecuted for perjury, all right? She's going to plead the Fifth. We saw Orrin Hatch going head-to-head with Stephen Miller, the former head of the IRS. Lois Lerner knew about what was going on in, I think, June of 2011, all right? Talking 2 years ago. Then Miller learned about it in May of 2012, a year ago. If it had come out during that season, it could have cost Obama the presidency, okay? Then we're supposed to believe that on April 24th, when the White House counsel, Catherine Rummel learned, and she told the chief of staff, Dennis McDonough, that McDonough didn't tell President Obama. This is all ludicrous. It's actually ludicrous. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, the president is having a bad run with the media. The White House, by the way, did you see that the White House came out and said they don't want journalists prosecuted for trying to get information out of sources? They're not going to be co-conspirators in security breaches. Woo, thanks, President Obama. The First Amendment is just barely alive and well under your reign. We will continue following this with bated breath in hopes that President Obama faces the camera, this one, Lane, and says, "I am not a crook."